Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And we're seeing a very big jump up here in equities on the news that they have had some success in locating a potential vaccine for the virus. Obviously, that's got everything being pushed around here. And just looking across this, Chinese TV research team at Zhejiang University has found an effective drug to treat people with the new coronavirus. So we are seeing some moves across the board, especially in equities. Also rebound here in crude oil. So quite the move here. And we just got the PMI final in the Eurozone, which came in at 51.3, a little bit better than expected. We are seeing the Euro continue to remain under pressure, albeit in a very tight range. We're still on the lower ends of the range here. We're just above 1030. Also had German PMIs. You can see that that came in at 54.2. Right in line with what they have listed as a poll. French PMI pretty much in line, 51.1 versus 51.5. But actually, yeah, 51 even. That was on the composite. This was on the services PMI. And Spanish services PMI came in 52.3, just a little bit less than what the Reuters poll was expected. At the bottom of the hour, we will have UK services PMI. Once again, it's a final reading. And then at the top of this next hour, we'll have Eurozone retail sales. They are expecting a decline of 0.9%. Then later on this morning, as we roll into the States at 8:15 Eastern, we'll have ADP. They're looking for 156,000. Prior was 202,000. We know we had a good number the last time in NFP, if I remember correctly. Canadian jobs, not Canadian jobs, but Canadian trade balance. That'll be at 8:30 Eastern. And we do have a market composite final PMI at 9:45 Eastern with services and ISM non-manufacturing at 10 a.m. Eastern. Let's go move this out of the way. As I said, we've already had decent jump over here in the, let's see if we can't go with a little bit longer range here. Bear with me. So a nice big jump here in S&Ps. Then we're looking at the day. This is on the weekly. See where we stand on a 2-hour chart. Some resistance will come in actually right there, just right there. Be like coming in right there, 33.20 and a quarter. There we go. So quite the move back here on that news. And looking here with crude oil. Resistance is really going to come in probably right there, really closer to right at 50, but they're 51.01. We're still a little ways to go, but solid push up in here. Some minor resistance coming in right there where we are at 50.64. So let's just go and take a quick look at the news. Of course, this was right before the this news came out right before the story. It says most currencies fall as virus outbreak fuels rate cut. Singapore dollar skated to a near 4-month low on Wednesday, leading losses among Asian currencies. Monetary Authority of Singapore says exchange rate based monetary policy stance remained. And let's see, let's go and move into the dollar, because once again, this story is a bit dated now in light of all the news. Dollar up for a third day, but yen firms on China's virus fears. Dollar climbed towards a recent 2-month high on Wednesday on the back of firmer Asian markets and expectations Beijing will manage to limit the spread of a deadly virus. Through the yen's strength against a basket of its rivals, the dollar index rose to 98.02, advancing for a third consecutive day. FX markets are slightly optimistic as the infection rate from the deadly virus seems to have showed somewhat, but still remains high at double-digit rates at FX strategists. Oh, hold on. As a result, the dollar has weakened as the spreading virus risk sentiment. With more than 99% of the cases confirmed, the quarantine measure is in place and central banks pouring trillions of yen into the financial system. And once again, this came out before, obviously, the big news. We're seeing some big movements across the board. Look at the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar rebounded quite nicely because obviously that's certainly impacted, by what we're seeing here. We're seeing the S&Ps got just above that 33.20 and a quarter now. So maybe we'll see that pause a bit. We shall see. We did get it up to 33.22. We're 33.19 and a half now. And crude oil just almost made it to 51. I was keeping an eye on that. And we're at 50.84 now. So we're starting to see the S&Ps just back up just a hair. They're pretty much close to their highs anyways. Let's go and move into the analysis. Crude oil just popped up. Good over here. We're going to see what happens here with the SPOOs. They're also pushing here. So hang on. Dollar yen is pushed up higher also. See what happens here with SPOOs and the crude. Very interested right here. Well, taking a look at the euro, no changes here per se with the euro. One moment. So anyway, as I mentioned here with the euro, no changes from yesterday. I'm trying to keep an eye also with some of these pairs, trying to see if I might grab something here. I'm talking about the SPUs and the crude oil here. But anyway, here on the euro, no changes per se here, what we're seeing here with those two. From yesterday, the key thing is we've continued to go in and drift lower here, and the key thing is if we close below 1020, that head and shoulders continues to remain in effect here. But the key was going to be a close below 1020. If we get that close below 1020, then we're certainly going to go in and make that move lower, which would, I've got a number here at 50, let me see, 917. 917, and on the upside, we'd be looking at, bear with me, I'm trying to keep track of these markets as they're moving right now. It's not too easy. Hang on. So support today is going to be here at 1020. And resistance is going to come in right there, 1078 on resistance. But overall, no specific change here with the euro. Let's go on and move into now to the cable. So it says cable tested below the 2980 pivot, but held above support level 2934. Resistance will be 3085. Short-term target remains 2898. So once again, 3085. And yesterday we didn't have that big of a movement here in currencies overall to start with. Bear with me. And for support, we were looking, once again, we held above yesterday's low of 2934. With the potential to move down here to 2898. We're going to go and keep that 2934. let's see here. Let's move into the Aussie dollar. Now, we've actually seen a pretty good move here in the Aussie dollar in light of the news. So in the Aussie dollar, slightly rebounded post RBA. The pair is oversold and a bounce to 67.86 is possible with additional resistance at the breakdown level of 68.48. Now, obviously, we had the big move already here with the news. So that actually, like I said, we were looking for potentially come up here to 67.86. I'm surprised we haven't even rebounded even further, to be quite honest with you. So we're actually going to go on and let's see here. It's very oversold, so we're actually going to move this all the way up to 68.08 for resistance. And for support, it's going to come here now at, let's go right there, 67.23, 67.23. Let's go move into the Kiwi. Okay, the Kiwi stabilized on Tuesday, closed above 64.93 with resistance at 65.97 and support at 64.59. So we're going to go and keep that. That's going to be resistance at 65.47 here on the Kiwi. With support at 64.59. And I'm surprised that this isn't a little bit stronger in light of the news. Let's go move on now to the dollar CAD. Okay, the dollar CAD kept itself in check. It had the bias chart resistance at 33.09 for the second consecutive day. A break higher finds additional resistance at 33.33. Support remains 32.31. So no changes here. It's still going to be 33.09 with support down at 32, 31. No changes here in the dollar CAD. It's been able to, right here at that 33.09, has actually kept this market, as I mentioned, in check right there at 33.09. No changes. Okay, on the dollar peso is back at the lower end of the last 2 weeks range. Support remains at 1865, followed by 1862, which is this 161% of this failed rally. We've gone over that multiple times. A break lower will target 1844. Resistance is 1880, followed by 1888. So really, like I said, wasn't really a whole lot of movement yesterday in FX. We're going to put this down here at 1862 for that extension. And on the upside, 1880. Okay, looking at the dollar yen. Dollar yen triggered stops above 927 on the backdrop of stronger equities. The breaks above 927 flips the bias to bullish. Resistance on a closing basis is 965, with intraday resistance at 983. Support is a pivot of 927, followed by 911. Okay, so we did go on and break higher yesterday on the advance in equities, and we've got above 927, which in turn flipped the bias to bullish. Now, the key is 965, but that's on a closing basis. But intraday, we're looking at 983, 983.80 intraday, which we've gone and tagged that. And support's going to be at the pivot of 927. Moving into the cash dollar index. The dollar index continued its upward move, closing above the key pivot of 97.89. Key will be if it can retain that 97.89 by the end of the week. The resistance is going to be 98.17, followed by 98.42. Support is 97.42. So no changes here. 98.11, 97.42. And bias is bullish. We still maintain ourselves above the the trend line break, the breakout level down here. We've now gotten above the weekly pivot, and the challenge is going to be 98.11. And support would be down here at 97.42. Essentially, we had no real changes in FX, really, for the most part, yesterday. I mean, you saw a little bit of action with cable, but that's about it. I mean, when you're looking at the majors. Dollar CAD's run out of gas, and we had the resistance for the last prior 2 days, I think it was, which actually since Monday, 33.09. That's kept the dollar CAD in check. We're finally starting to now bend a little bit here, which is not surprising considering the move in equities. Let's go and move into the cross rates. We do have UK final services PMI due at the bottom of the hour. Wow, equities are still pushing higher. We'll go and pull this up here. So now we're above 32.25. Let's see what the next area is here. To be, well, right where we're at, basically 32.25 3/4. Really, I guess 32.26.5. Looks like it'd be a good low right there. We shall see. And crude oil was at 50.91. We've actually already gotten above 51, and we paired back a bit. Then we got back above 51. We paired back a bit. So surprisingly holding here, despite equities trying to make that push. But you would think this would be about it for equities. You would think. We shall see. I'm playing at 33.25. And let's go and move into the QEN. So we are responding in kind now, obviously with the Kiwi yen moving higher. Resistance, it's going to be all about the levels. So resistance is going to be right there, 71.49. And support. Right there, just above, right there. 71.05. UK data out in just a few seconds. Let's move this over here. It just came out. Nope, it hasn't not yet. There we go. In 5 more seconds. $53.9. A little bit stronger cable here. See that? Remember, our resistance is 30.88. I believe it's 30, or is it? Yeah, 30.85 on the cable. So let's go and move on to the euro yen. So we have gone and seen a decent little rebound. Once again, it's just going to be just straight with the technicals. The market's fairly oversold. We may not get there immediately right now, but the next key level, and you can see a nice touch is coming across, going to be right there at 21.33. Support's going to come in right across, I guess just right back here to this line here, which was a breakout area. It just seems that they're going to continue to stay bit above that, and we're going to move that just a little bit higher right there. $20.55. Actually, the low right there is right there. You see that here coming in? So that's going to be your support, which is going to be 20.61. Obviously, the euro being impacted from what we've seen with the news, so it's really coming apart. It was already, the euro was already weak to start with, and then when you see with the Aussie responding in kind to the news, really coming under pressure. We got some support coming in right there. We're just going to let them go just a little bit lower. Right here. 62.71. Quite the move considering how much we had paired, how we had broken out. Now we're turning around and giving all this right back in place. So 62.71 and resistance. We'll just go with this high right there, just above that 63.41. So if you're short and you're looking to press it, or what was the risk if you were to stay short, it's going to be right there at 63.58. Now we'll have to wait till the close. About to change this bias to bearish. Hold on. Well, as long as we stay above the 63.41, so we're going to have to it'll still retain its bullishness for right now, but we shall see. Crude oil's breaking down just a bit, even though S&Ps are climbing to to even higher. Right now we're 32.26 and a quarter, and that's some resistance right here that we showed at 32.26 and a quarter. So we'll see what happens. Crude oil's pulling back here right now at 50.80. And we've seen this euro come apart really against the Antipodeans. Here's support here. We're just going to, just wondering if we'd get a little bit of an overshoot, which is what we provided in the euro odd, except this overshoot would take us down to 69.48. This is 69. Yeah, let's go with that. So we're going to go with, it's right here, 69.50. And on the upside, trying to keep track of all these other markets at the same time. It's not easy. Trying to find a good level right there. Let's take a look here on the 2 hour. $69.92. Looks like the S&Ps are just pausing a little bit at this 33.26 and a quarter, which we're looking at. Let's go and move into the Aussie yen. Okay, on this rebound here, once again, straight up just resistance is going to be right here at 74.46. But that being said, this SPOOs are just got the, looking on the tape, looks like they're a little bit tired up in here. Maybe that's going to be a little bit of a pause here. Seeing some decent size trading here in the SPOOs. And so the resistance we're going to have here, just going with the level, and that might be a bit of a stretch here, but it's going to be 74.50. And support comes in right there. 73.44, 73.44. For support. But if they can press it up here, it'd be 74.50 on this upside. Next will be the guppy. And we've got a little bit of a resistance level right there in the guppy. Right here, 43.33. 43, actually we just tagged it too, 43.33. And for support, right there, 42.82. Actually works a little bit lower. Right here where they broke out, it's going to be 42.75. 42.75. And let's last finish up with the sterling odd. Well, we've seen, because of the Aussie strength, seen this gone and pare back a bit. Let's go on and take a look at the 2-hour chart. It's going to be right there, 92.35, 92.35 for support. With resistance coming in right there, 93.56. And that might even be a bit rich here. Let's go right here, 93.42. Okay, and that wraps it up. We are seeing the euro continue to slide back right now. If we get below this 1020, it's over and done with. I mentioned it yesterday in the chat room. We were talking about the euro, and it's over. It's over. There's no way I see anybody coming back to the euro if we get a close today below 1020. Not before we get the completion of this head and shoulders. If we get this close below 1020. S&Ps are still pushing up here, 32.27, 75. We do have some support, not support, but a resistance. I mentioned it, 33.26 and a quarter. Let's see how we close over the next hour or so, half hour. And not cable, I meant crude oil, right here at that $51 area here. Actually holding up. It's no longer rallying with the SPOOs. I mean, it's kind of just holding its own here. But that's where we stand on that. And lastly, gold. Pretty much just having a tough time. After we slid, we had some support at 1563 yesterday, and on April gold, and here we've continued to press lower. And in light of everything, I'm surprised it's not even weaker. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar. See you in the chat room, and good luck trading.